Hello boys and girls, it's Mrs. Pelletier again, and today I've brought a few books by the author Nicola Davies, and she writes some nonfiction books. So we're going to learn a little bit of new information about animals. And so the first book that I've chosen is Just Ducks. And I want you to, as I read the story, think about any new information that you maybe didn't know before about ducks, and now you know now. And what she does is she tells a story, but then she also gives us facts about ducks. So it's a little bit of a combination of a fiction and a nonfiction. Just Ducks, Nicola Davies. Quack, 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 quack. It's the first sound I hear every morning. The quacks start long and high and get quicker and lower at the end. Quack, 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 quack. I open my bedroom curtains. Who can be making all that noise? So see, the little girl's getting out of bed. She just woke up and she's hearing all of these sounds. Ducks, just ducks, down on the river that flows through the town. So this little girl is the one that's telling the story. But then see what Nicola Davies does? She puts in little print some facts about ducks. And she tells us male ducks quack so quietly that you have to be close to hear them. You can't even hear the male ducks. And then female ducks quack loudly to call all of the other ducks to join them. Okay. At first, there are only 2 or 3 of them. But by the time I'm dressed, lots more have arrived and are preening and splashing and quacking in the sunlight. It doesn't take long for me to eat my breakfast, but the ducks take forever to eat theirs. So remember when I just said, but by the time I'm dressed, lots more have arrived and are preening and splashing. Do you know what the word preening means? Well, Nicola Davies is very clever, and she gives us the information about preening right here. She says when they preen, ducks spread oil from a little spot just under their tails all over their feathers to keep them shiny and waterproof. The oil helps keep them buoyant on the water, so the water doesn't get into their feathers and everything, okay? They're still eating when I cross the bridge to go to school. So see, this is her morning. She hears them at first, and now she sees them as she goes across the bridge to go to school. I look down and see them swimming around, dabbling at the surface and upending to reach food that's underwater. Brr, it looks cold. So again, some of this vocabulary that's a little tricky to understand if you didn't know what dabbling was, she tells us right here in little print. She says dabbling is when ducks nibble at the surface of the water. See, so the surface of the water is the very top with their beaks to get tiny bits of food, small insects, and seeds. And then if you didn't know what the word upending meant, she says upending is when ducks push their heads right under the surface to eat water plants and creatures such as snails. So see, that's when they're upending. They're going right down into the surface of the water so that they can get some food. See, so already we've learned a lot about ducks. We visit the ducks on the way home from school in the afternoon. When the weather's very cold, they're still hungry. So I go to the river, I go down to the water. Even though they're wild birds, they come close just to see if I've got any food for them. So see, now she's done with school and she's going back home so she can see the ducks again. And Nicola Davies gives us some additional information. Usually you shouldn't feed ducks, but they need more food when it's cold. So in some places, people feed ducks bread in harsh weather. So see, she's bringing them a little bit of breadcrumbs and maybe some seeds. Although ducks can't live on bread alone, it helps to keep their bellies full when times are tough. They're all mallard ducks. So the girl ones, the ducks, are streaky browns and tans. So see, they're different colored than the males. And then the female's quiet colors help her hide from danger when she's sitting on her eggs. So this is, the color of her feathers almost serves like a camouflage. She can hide, okay? The boys, which are called drakes, have glossy green heads, neat white collars, and a cute little curl on their tails. See? They both have a secret patch of blue on each wing, which I see when they stretch or fly. So I didn't realize that. They all of these mallard ducks have a little streak of blue. And drakes don't sit on eggs, so they don't need to be camouflaged, right? I like it when a drake shows off his handsome feathers to the ducks, trying to get one to be his girlfriend. Sometimes the drakes get very excited and they chase a duck in a gang or fight, splashing in the water and making a big fuss. And then it says, from fall through winter, drakes try to find a mate in time for spring when the ducks will be ready to lay their eggs. Okay, so see, sometimes these drakes get into a fight. They want to show off their feathers and show that they're the most handsome. In spring, there won't be as many ducks on the way home because they'll be busy nesting. For almost a month, the mother ducks will sit on their eggs hidden away, sometimes in some pretty funny places. Last year, one made her nest in our greenhouse when the ducks hatched. So see, they try to find a place that's kind of secret so that the eggs will be protected. And she said mallard ducks make their nests on the ground and lay between 8 to 13 eggs. Predators like to eat eggs and ducklings, so mother ducks hide their nests carefully. They have to hide them so nobody will take them away or eat those eggs, okay? In fact, last year, she said when the ducklings hatched, they had to climb the wall at the back of the yard, then jump down to follow their mom to the river. See, so the minute they hatch, this is what Nicola Davies tells us, as soon as the ducklings hatch, mother ducks get them to the water, no matter what, because they are safer there than from cats and other hungry creatures. So the minute they hatch, the mother duck says, come on with me, we are going to go into the water. Okay, so I want you to think about all the ways that the mother duck protects her baby ducks. Okay, she has to lay the eggs, put the nest in a nice safe place, and then she gets them in the water right away. But now it's getting dark and the lights on the bridge begin to glow, and all over town people are getting home for dinner. It's time for ducks to take a safe place for the night. Some sleep under the bridge, see? And then some fly off to roost, to roost in the reeds. Some float on the water with their heads tucked under their wings. And it says, some fly off to roost in the reeds. When they say roost in the reeds, what do you think that might mean? That means that they kind of hang out in the reeds, and reeds are tall plants, so they hang out together. And then right down here, Nicola Davies gives us some additional information. Ducks usually sleep at night because they can't see to find food in the dark, but they have to sleep somewhere predators can't reach them. So they sleep together really close and they hide in those plants. And some don't go to bed at all. I know, because one night at choir practice, we heard them quacking softly outside the window as they ate worms off the lawn in the dark. Quack, quack, quack. And so see, she's in this building here and she's having choir practice. Choir practice is when you sing. And she could hear them. So they weren't asleep then. And she said, if there's food to eat and moonlight or street light to see by, ducks will sometimes stay up late, especially when worms come out of their burrows at night, so that they can get additional food. When I close my curtains on the frosty stars, the ducks have disappeared, the bridge is quiet, and there's just the sound of rushing water and the stillness of the night. But in the morning, they'll be there, ... Ducks, just ducks, down on the river that flows through the town. What do you notice about the writing on this page? Quack, 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 quack. What did Nicola Davies do? See, she put lots of those quacking noises all over the page, and some of them a little bit bigger, and some of them, because these ducks are far away, she made it a little bit smaller because their quacking wouldn't be as loud. Okay, and then what she does is she gives us an index. So if we want to look up something, for example, if I wanted to look for the page where ducklings were, she says ducklings are on page 18 and 19. So I could turn to 18 and 19, and there would be information about the ducklings. Okay. She gives us a little bit of information on this page. She calls it Dozens of Ducks. The ducks in this book are mallard ducks, which are found all over Europe, America, and Asia, as well as Australia and New Zealand. But they are only one of more than 120 different kinds of ducks that live in every kind of watery place, from river rapids to marshy ponds, and from lakes to open ocean. Although there are many kinds of ducks, and they have different colors and live in different ways, they share a similar shape of body and beak that we all know as just ducks. So think about why she might have titled this book Just Ducks. Even though this book is about mallard ducks, she said there are over, 120 different kinds of ducks that live all around the world. They all have the same shape, and they all have a very similar beak. Okay, so there's one other thing I want to read you from this book, and Nicola Davies always gives a little information about herself at the end. And as I read this, I want you to think about why she wrote this book. Nicola Davies is a zoologist and the award-winning author of many books for young readers, including Surprising Sharks, Big Blue Whale, and White Owl, Barn Owl, and Just Ducks. She says, ducks are so lovable. As a very little girl, I was always asking to be taken to the pond in the park to go look at them. My first job was at a sanctuary for wild geese and ducks, and I spent hours trying to draw their lovely shapes and colors. Nicola Davies lives in Wales. So just from reading that little part about Nicola Davies, we can tell she was a zoologist. She's always been fascinated with ducks. So probably she wrote this book to share information with other readers about ducks. That's what authors do sometimes. Sometimes they write to share information. And what's nice about Nicola Davies is she does write it like a story. She told it through the point of view of this little girl, but then she gives us some interesting facts about ducks. All right. So in this book, we read a little bit about female ducks and male ducks. So why don't you take a minute right now and talk to the person next to you about the differences between female ducks and male ducks. Okay, so take a minute to do that. All right, and maybe write them down. And then you can check them with what I wrote over here. So female mallard ducks, we learned that they quack really loudly, right? Because they want to call everybody together. They are brown and tan, but they have that little blue spot under their wing. Their color helps them hide from any danger. We also learned that the mother duck sits on her eggs for almost 1 month. And then we also learned that as soon as the ducklings hatch, the mother gets them to water. The male ducks quack really quietly, right? You have to get very close to even hear them quack. The boy ducks are called drakes. They have glossy green heads, neat white collars, just like this. That's what a white collar is, like a little white spot there, and little curls on their tails. They are not camouflaged, right? They don't have colors that allow them to hide because they don't have to protect the eggs. They have a secret patch of blue on each wing, and they show off their handsome feathers. So what you could do is you could write a chart like this, or you could even write a book, and then what you can do is maybe draw a female and a male. Okay, so if I drew this, again, I'm going to think about the shape. So I'm going to think about, it's almost like an arc right here. And then we're going to make the big belly come around like that. Okay, and then I see it kind of goes like a little smile right there, and then a straight line down, and then look at this shape here. It's kind of a curved line, and we'll come here and here. Okay, and then the beak is right in there. The eye is almost like an oval, and then it looks like there's a little line there. And then look at the wing. The wing goes up in an arc, and then comes down in a point, and then comes in here, and that. And then we could put some feathers, and I'm going to put that little blue spot there. And these little feet look like, they don't, I want to say they usually look like that. Okay, and then you could color it. And we know that they're brown and tan with these little blue spots. Okay, so there's the female duck. And then what we can do here is we could make a male duck. So I'm going to come here, and let's see, he's standing up a little taller. So I'm going to start at the top. And you can do this with me right at your house if you want. So there's the head, goes up. And then here I'm going to look for this shape right here. And let's see. See how that little part goes down there? And then we want to put his beak there. There. And then his big belly. I'm going to try to make it, I don't have quite so much room, so I'll make him a little smaller. And then I'm going to connect it to the tail, but we know that his tail's a little bit curly, so we're going to put a little curl at the end. And then we've got to put his eye, and he's got a little line there. And we have to make his white collar. And then we'll put a little spot for that blue. And then we'll put little duck feet on him too. Okay, so then we can have a picture of the male duck and a picture of the female duck. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this story about Just Ducks by Nicola Davies. And she didn't draw the illustrations. The illustrator was Salvador Rubino. Okay.